Jimmy. Jimmy. James, son.
So this is the corner of the bedroom, and as I've mentioned before in the previous videos, I don't really want this here. I've taken these out, and I was going to just completely disassemble this and put my desk here. But of course, as it would turn out, somebody had not put the proper carpet down when they did this, even though they could have just cut a nice little chunk of the carpet and put it there. So I'm going to have to take that shag out. We've gotten a good bit of the way through making that into my desk. But for the moment, we're going to walk over here, and I have to change the toilet seat because it is gross, and I do not want my ass sitting where somebody else's juicy ass has already been sitting. And it's time to put the shelf up. Remember I said I was going to put a shelf right here? Well, the time has arrived. I've gotten my T-square out, or whatever the hell this thing is called. Made a line here, so we'll go ahead and take this outside, cut it nice and even. I doubt I'm going to stain it. It's just a shelf. I don't really need it to be stained. And we will screw it in place with these brackets, which I believe should be strong enough. They don't feel weak at all. This one, well, I don't like that one. We're going to have to secure that a little bit better to one of the beams. Well, you'll see. It'll go all the way across, and it'll give me a little area for my towels. I also picked this up at a thrift store. This is pretty neat. It's like a little hand towel rack. It matches the wood of the interior. We got the new toilet seat, wood, to match the rest of this thing going on here. And the new shelf is installed, and it's pretty sturdy. I actually don't have any complaints with this. For what it's only gonna hold towels. I mean, towels don't weigh more than maybe like a pound a piece, if that. So she's looking better in here, especially after I re-enameled that sink and just did various other things. I think we're nearing completion, if not already complete in here. I do need to clean this because I don't know what all this goo is here. And I don't know if I showed you, but I reinstalled the soap holder that was here that I re-enameled and painted real smooth. I still need to go get the toothbrush holder, and of course I installed this. So once I clean everything up, because this is just kind of gross and needs to be cleaned up, I think that we will be at a very good spot. I think it'll be real nice looking, and I can take a shit inside of a cabin, or at least pretend I'm taking a shit inside of a cabin. Ugh. Not bad. I like it. This kind of clashes. It's like we got some kind of weird thing going on. It's blue on this side and like all yellow and brown on this side, but maybe in the future I can remedy that by painting this. We'll see. All right, so we have a bit of an update. As you can see, I've pulled the carpet completely out of the living room. Ended up finding out that somebody has changed the subfloor, which is great. And it's actually a full inch subfloor, not a half inch, which is very good. The linoleum that is installed still is not glued down, so whoever did this, they never glued it down. And I can pull this up and it goes all the way back without any kind of glue or adhesive. So that's going to make it very easy to remove what is left of the linoleum, and I'm very appreciative of whoever did that wrong and incorrect. Makes my job easier. I'm going to remove it all the way down from where that starts right there in the living room, all the way down to where the bedroom starts. Now, a little bit of an update on the shed. I've got 3 of the 4 walls built. I need to build the 4th wall, pun intended, and put the roof on. But before I can put the roof on, I need to go get a scissor ladder because this ladder is perfectly inadequate for my needs. So I'm gonna have to go do that. Still working on the table over there. I've taken some more stuff, thrown the microwave in here. I found that at a thrift store. That is the Van Gogh painting Cafe Terrace on the Place du Forum, which just means in English the Cafe Terrace at night. One of my favorite Van Gogh paintings. We'll get a little bit of a look at it. This frame is nice too for 15 bucks. You can't really complain. I want to have this one framed. That is the Starry Night by Van Gogh. And of course I got my Smashing Pumpkins poster I've had since I was 8 years old in the late 90s. It has not fared so well, but unfortunately I can't really find a replacement. For some reason these are super rare and you kind of just had to be there to get it. I really wish I would have framed it when I was a kid, but I was a kid, so oh well. At least it's been with me all these years. One thing I got to do, which I haven't had the time to do, install the ugly green toilet. I've just been busy. I need to get a rebuild kit for the rubber bushings that go here, and I need to get a pump and a valve and a couple of other things. That way I can just have it completely good when I go to install it. I did end up replacing the caulking around the bathtub. I did do that. Look how nice and smooth it is now. No longer allowing water to leak behind it. I got to do the same thing here. I need to put like a shade on the window because I don't like the fact that water just sort of puddles there and has the ability to go behind there and rot whatever is behind there. That's a stupid idea. Why do you need a window in your shower? Makes no sense. Other than that, this thing is pretty much done. Once I get that toilet yanked out and the old school one installed, we're going to be nearly done in here. And the final thing will be this wall. Whole thing's got to come out all the way down from there to here, right there. Gonna sheetrock everything. Might get rid of this door, I don't know. And I also have to remove this completely fucked piece of ceiling. Boy, feel that nice cold air conditioning. That is nice. But yeah, that's the update. So I will catch you guys when I have more things to update you on. Well, we finally have an update on the floors. They're done. The guy came in, did a really good job, did exactly what I asked, put it from the bedroom all the way down to the beginning of the washroom between the other bedroom. And it looks nice. The gaps look really nice. I mean, he just laid it down super quick, 2 days, and he was in and out. We still have to do this wall. And one thing I noticed is that the gaps are incorrect here. This was to be expected because I'm aware that we are going to have to put like a trim down or like a baseboard. I don't know what you call it. I'm not a house rebuilder. I'm a car rebuilder, but for today we're rebuilding houses. So put trim all along the bottom of the walls and that will fix that problem. But before we do that, we have to completely sheetrock this wall because of the water damage that's there. Once we sheetrock it, we can determine what kind of trim we're going to put down. But he really did a good job with the exception of one small little issue. Very easily fixable. He accidentally tiled over a heater vents in the floor, which is kind of funny. Or at least 90% of one. I'm not sure how you do this and not sort of realize what you're doing. But that'll be easily fixable. Just cut the little tile and put this vent back in, which he left over here. I guess he left it here and didn't see it. But it really transforms the look of the trailer. Makes it look like a barn because of the wood on wood. Once they do the sheetrocking, depending on how it comes out, I'm going to paint it the same color as the cabinets. And if I determine that I like that better, we'll just go ahead and paint all of the ancient wood paneling to match. And so begins the great tribulation of changing the new toilet for the antiquated Avocado toilet. I'm sure a bunch of people are shaking their heads in disappointment, like, why? Because I'm a freak, I guess. I don't know. I just want it, and when I gotta have it, you gotta have it. So, you gotta go, as the old saying is. We've already got the lines disconnected, the water purged from the tank. I don't even believe the toilet is bolted in anymore. Everything's loose. I have a new wax ring seal because you always change those, always. I even have the new rubber grommets for the inside of the toilet and the new seal for the actual lip right here. If I need any parts, this thing's filled with parts, so, I got everything I need. So I guess let's pick this thing up and try to get it over here without causing a giant mess. Well, this toilet's obviously been here for a minute. It has caused a small amount of water damage to the wood paneling, but that can be rectified. The poo-poo hole that goes to poo-poo land, hopefully I don't drop my phone down there, seems to be pretty good. The wax ring is probably reusable, but we don't play that game around here. I have done that before, and it always leads to bad things. So we're going to go ahead and change it. There's like a chunk just randomly here of wax, and I'm hoping not a mixture of wax and poopy doody. That would be lovely. So it looks pretty supple, which is good. This was not changed that long ago, and how I know this is look at the substructure. Look at the subfloor. That is new. That is years old, like 2-3 years old at max. So somebody's come in here and changed the entire substructure of the trailer at some point after I took up the carpet and the linoleum in the kitchen and living room. We now have proof that the whole substructure is good. Let's go ahead and move this toilet, which is considering to leak all over me. I don't know how the toilet functions. I'm just going to be straight up with you here. I know that the fucking water flushes down into the sewer and that's it. There's some kind of like back pressure thing here to prevent methane from building pressure and exploding, because that happened a lot in Victorian era England when the toilet was first invented, or at least first in mass use. And I know that's how this water keeps escaping and leaking, so I do have to change the wax ring and get this out of here without completely spraying poo-poo water all over me. So let's try some of that. I have got the base of the toilet completely bolted in nice and firmly. We have the new wax ring installed. There's the sheath from the old one. This is all the poopy duty that I removed from the old one. So hopefully that seals correctly. The bolt hole's lined up perfectly, but you can see that it's differently shaped than the last toilet. So I may have to replace at some point the linoleum or whatever the hell this is in this, which I was already planning on doing anyway. So it's not really that big of a deal. But let's hook the toilet up first and recondition it and make sure that it's functioning properly before we go to any lengths longer than that. Okay, toilet anchored to the floor, bowl anchored to the toilet, I guess tank anchored to the toilet. You got to be really careful when you tighten those two little bolts. See, I've already added some water in there. Got to check for leaks, and absolutely do not over tighten those little bolts. I did that one time and crack, there went the tank. So we turned the old school valve on. As you can see, there is a leak. So it's a good thing we really didn't fill any water in here because we have a leak. So this has turned into a penis for my anus. Penis in my anus, perhaps. This thing leaked, and I could see why. You know, it's the original rubber grommet from 1960, whatever. You know, this thing was created just after John F. Kennedy got his brains smeared all over Dealey Plaza.
The greatest fairy tale ever told. It's got everything. The Prince of Camelot, rubies, and magic bullets.
So, as a result, when I put water in the tank, these two holes in here did not leak, but the main thing leaked all over the place. Luckily, I only filled it just a tiny bit to see. Like I mentioned previously, you really got to check for leaks first. The color of this linoleum, the way it initially was supposed to be, is much lighter than, for some reason, it is now. I don't even want to think about why that is. But yeah, we're going to have to pull all this up at some point. That's absolutely for sure, so that's going to have to be in the works. But I'm going to go ahead and tighten those two screws back down. I replaced the gasket with a new one, and hopefully that solves our leak. Back from the store for like the 812th time today-ish. And we had to go get a new flush valve kit with the 2-inch flapper. Because not only was the one that I bought just not right, underneath here, there's an actual gasket, like a rubber impact gasket. And it was crunched. I don't think I have it with me here. I would show you. Oh, maybe I do. Hold on. This thing right here, see that gasket? I mean, look at just the age. Like, this isn't in direct sunlight, people. This is inside of a fucking tank, completely hidden from sunlight for the entirety of its life. There's a solid chance this is actually from the 60s. So, I killed it while taking it out. That's fine with me. No problem there. But the new one is installed with the new gasket, and it even came with some new hardware to mount the tank. So we're going to use these thicker grade bolts and see what kind of result that gets us. Let's hope it's a good one. This is like part 70 of the toilet saga. This thing has become a wretched pain in my asshole. Trying to get this thing to work in the 21st century, you know, the year 2023 as opposed to 1968, is just a chore and a half. You got to change everything. If you ever consider bringing an old ancient toilet like this back to life, change everything, okay? Because you're not getting away with not changing one little piece. I had to change everything. I had to steal the valve out of this toilet, this whatever the hell this is. I had to go buy a brand new ring seat for the toilet back here, both upper and lower. I had to buy new bushings for the actual tank mount. I had to buy a new flapper. I had to buy a little valve for the bottom of the toilet, and even then it's giving me attitude. So I had to adjust the flapper to make it actually dump the water. And this thing is built for a low-flow modern toilet, so trying to fill this thing up takes the better part of like 6 minutes. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get it to actually fill the water at a quicker level as opposed to just sitting there and timing it by a freaking sundial. This thing's going to get hawked out in the yard minus a seat, because I just put that seat on there. That seat's going over there. Oh, man. I was more thrilled in the beginning of the day when doing this for the first time. But, after all that... Look at the sheer amount of water this thing wastes. And then it makes that noise for about 6 minutes because look at the absolute slowness. I know you can't really see that much. Oh, but this thing is comically slow to fill. The only good thing is when you flush it, it only uses about half the tank. So it usually fills to about here. And when you do one single flush, it drops it to about there. So it doesn't take as long. But god damn. To get this thing to not leak at all, so it doesn't leak a drop from anywhere. Okay. Not even one drop. Doesn't leak a drop around the corners here. It's completely dead dry on the tank. Dead dry behind it. Dead dry from the valve. Now this is, I wouldn't, if I had known this was going to be this way, I just wouldn't have done it. This has been like an $80 in parts and like 6 hours in labor. Nuisance is what we would call this. A nuisance. So after I put it all back together, we're going to go and see if we can find ourselves a new valve, because this valve is, it's ancient, to say the very least. But hey, I got it working right. Well, there it is. Yeah, for better or worse, I suppose. My toilet is finished. Nice and clean on the inside. Ew, that's what was in the tank of this one. I know it's newer, but I'm just going to go ahead and hawk it outside, and someone will steal that baby right up. This, I have to do some fiddling with because it's just not perfect. The flow rate when you flush it is not adequate to flush the duties down the duty hole, in my personal opinion. It's sort of an eccentricity of the past. And if I was going to use another large word, esoteric. Just because of the way it looks and the way I've tricked it out. But all things considered, it's funny. I like it. Once everything's out of the way and it's clean and I've figured all the little bugs out, I'm sure it'll be a nice little toilet. But holy crap, I wouldn't have done that if I was gonna know this was gonna be the process. But hey, it's done. Let me sit on it and christen it. Let's see. Oh, that feels nicer. Yeah, this one was weird. I didn't like the way it felt when you sat on it. So, yeah. Nice little view of the mirror there while you're taking a shit. I dig it, man. Groovy, baby. Or whatever Earthworm Jim says. Psychedelic. Imagine taking a shit here in 1972 with some yellow shag carpeting staring back at you and Richard Nixon on the television going, "I am not a crook." Must have been on a trip, man. Anyway, I gotta haul this thing outside. Well, that's enough toilet-related shenanigans for one day. But I think that's gonna go ahead and do it for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. So, bye.